you ever had to fill out a questionnaire or write an essay or a personality test for a job interview?
This is a tremendous question. No.
That's why I asked them.
No, I don't think so.
I have in the past with NFL Network to be in their research department.
Mm-hmm.
I believe I had to take a test about my NFL knowledge.
Yeah.
And just if I notice like mistakes on a sheet as far as like grammatically like incorrect stuff when it comes to NFL terminology.
Right.
And you know me with grammar. Spot on always.
Yeah. Naturally,
of course. But yeah, I had to do that. Needless to say, I didn't get into the NFL research department, but I did get in their production staff.
So you failed the...
Yes.
You failed it. Why? What was on there?
I don't recall. It wasn't so much I failed the written part. It was just they could tell my attention to detail wasn't spot on to be a researcher.
Well, I guess that makes sense. That does honestly. That does not sound
does,
fun.
huh?
No, well, that does not sound fun.
Well, I always grew up loving NFL history.
Of course.
So I thought that was going to really be the crux of the whole job.
Yeah.
But not the case. It was very detail oriented, and I'm just not that person. So
right.
I got into the right job eventually. But yeah, I did have to take a written test in order to get to NFL Network. Yes.
Yeah. I would figure that with your freakishly elephant-like memory that you would have at least, maybe they would have considered you for the role.
They did. I went through 2 different rounds of interviews, but when it came to like writing stuff out and it being 100% correct, they were like, we're missing some things here. Like, you obviously know your shit, but that's not the job. And I was like, all right, that's fair. Whatever.
Do you have the little party trick? Do you have the little party trick though in your resume? Like, forget the essay, like just your little party trick where you can name every Super Bowl winner along with its MVP, no matter the year.
Yeah, in the interview process, they asked me, how knowledgeable are you with NFL history? And I go, I can give you every Super Bowl score and the MVP. And they're like, prove it. So I started rattling off. And then after a while, they're like, okay, you clearly know your stuff.
They basically said, shut up.
Yeah, they were like, I think at one point, one of the guy goes, all right, stop showing off.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, maybe that's what lost you the job then.
Yeah, I was too damn good, Steven. That's the reason why I didn't get the NFL researcher job.
Well,
but you know what? In hindsight, like the guys that were in that department, kind of nerds.
Really? They were. No way.
Yeah. Like, I'm the cool guy remembering all of the Super Bowl scores and MVPs. That's how I got the ladies. It's a real panty dropper.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not just a party trick. It's one that's going to get you back in someone's bedroom.
Exactly. Hey, Joe Fortenbaugh was impressed.
Yeah, he was. Good God, he was. It's so weird.
The reason I bring it up is because I don't know if you heard this, but
naturally in the Fortenbaugh way, he's like, you could have made some money off that.
Yeah. Exactly. The reason I bring it up is because Tom Pelissero reported that that's part of the criteria in order to interview for the Browns job.
Oh.
You have to write an essay. This is why I want the Browns gig. Do a personality test.
Wow.
And answer some questions, which I'm sure that's why a bunch of people are dropping out of the gig or interviewing process.
That's dumb.
Yeah, I would think so too. I think if you really want me to be a head coach, just take me on my resume. If I was a good coordinator, whatever, like that's insane. To be completely honest.
Could you imagine if Kyle Shanahan had to write an essay to get a head coaching job?
There'd be a lot of and stuff.
Just a lot of and stuff and a lot of good. When I was back in Atlanta, we had a guy named Julio Jones. He was real good. We ran some real good stuff.
I don't think that Kyle would have to remind people that he coached Julio Jones. Hopefully not on a resume.
What are you trying to get? Like, what are you trying to get? What do you think you're getting? A college student on a scholarship? Like, what do these teams want from their head coach?
Well, it sounds like It sounds like all these guys that are in the Browns front office, Andrew Berry, are all Ivy League guys, so they want brainiacs.
Huh.
Which I don't know if Jim Schwartz qualifies as that. I mean, good coach. We'll see if he gets the gig. I think it's going to be Nate Scheelhaus, the pass game coordinator from the Rams. But
yeah,
that could drop any moment here as people are waiting for that.
No, it's very. It really strikes as what's the opposite of tone deaf? It really strikes like they understand the fact that Cleveland really not a blue collar town.
Yeah. Seems to be the case. Just your opinion, man. Stephen Langford, Derek Popper. We're coming to you on a Tuesday night. We'll react to the conference championship game, Seattle and the New England Patriots going back to the Super Bowl. Talk about some of these head coaching hires. A little shocking with Mike McCarthy. Joe Brady today announced as the Bills head coach. But speaking of head coaches, before we get to any of that, man, is the NFL Hall of Fame, the Pro Football Hall of Fame, turning into the Baseball Hall of Fame? Because this news, courtesy of Seth Wickersham and Don Van Natta, that Bill Belichick did not receive the appropriate amount of votes to get to the Hall of Fame, first ballot Hall of Famer. It's ridiculous, but I think not surprising. But what do you think about it?
I think it's both ridiculous and surprising, but tell me why it's not surprising to you.
It's not surprising because the media, sports writers, dictate who was nice to them and who wasn't, and who's deserving, who's a first ballot Hall of Famer, who's not. I'm trying to come up with stupid rationale. So this is not me justifying Bill Belichick now making it as a first ballot Hall of Famer. I looked it up too. We got this news during the show, and I was like, was Bill Walsh a first ballot Hall of Famer? Was not. Vince Lombardi? Not. A few guys were only, as far as coaches, only a few guys were first ballot Hall of Famers. Don Shula, Tom Landry, and Chuck Noll. But I think that you should put Bill Belichick in that conversation. As far as his media reputation, he was not well liked because he was very, curt with the media, and whatever. That should not stop you from being a first ballot Hall of Famer. I do wonder if the NFL writers, Hall of Fame voters, I should say, don't want Belichick and Robert Kraft in the same class. And we talked about it, I think it was 2 years ago, whenever that documentary came out. Yeah, 2 years ago. That was a whole smear campaign that Robert Kraft had with the Patriots documentary. Yeah. So it might have worked. I don't know. I think that, and it sounds like Bill Polian, we're getting conflicting reports now, but it sounds like he brought it up in the voting process. We really want to put this guy in as a first ballot Hall of Famer when we got Spygate and Deflategate. And now, courtesy of Seth Wickersham, he reached back out to him. I think it was Don Van Natta, back out to Polian. He's not 100% certain that he did or did not vote for Bill Belichick. Yeah, you got the whole article up here, Stephen.
Yeah, I'll try to give the bullet points. But Spygate and Deflategate, the cheating scandals during the Patriots championship run, came up in deliberations among voters. A voter who spoke on a condition of anonymity said Polian, an ardent Kraft supporter and former GM, Bills and Colts, Chiefs, Patriots rival during the dynasty, told some voters he believed Belichick should wait a year before induction as penance for Spygate, the 2007 cheating scandal that cost the team a first-round pick. Goodell find the Patriots and find Belichick, blah, blah, blah. And then a veteran Hall voter told ESPN the only explanation was the cheating stuff. It really bothered some of the guys. And then Polian denied telling fellow voters that he should serve a one-year penance. But he said he had heard his fellow voters float that idea, but he insisted he did not agree or disagree with the proposal. Make up your mind. Polian then said he voted for Kraft and even spoke up on his behalf during the deliberations, saying Kraft had no knowledge of the Spygate scheme. It's a good thing Robert Kraft is just a terrific human being. And Polian added that he could not remember with 100% certainty if he voted for Belichick, saying he was 95% sure he voted for the coach and player, most likely LC Greenwood.
What are you insinuating there with Robert Kraft? He's not a great human being.
Well, massage parlors and stuff.
You know what? Hold on. Let me just. Robert Kraft is kind of a shady dude with kind of besmirching the name of Bill Belichick. I will say, when you're an older man and your wife passes away, I don't think anything was wrong with the massage parlor thing.
Okay.
You disagree with that?
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, he's an older man. He's lonely.
Okay.
I don't think it's that big of a deal.
I don't find that much of an excuse, but okay. I'm not here to have a discussion on Robert Kraft.
All right, fair enough. He's like 70 years old. What do you expect? That's what these guys do. But as far as Belichick, yeah, I think this is ridiculous. It's not like he's not going to get in because he will, but this is why I think he's gone scorched earth on the NFL, where all these owners now are against him or not wanting to give him interviews. Doesn't sound like, at least. That's why he took the North Carolina gig. But yeah, you could say a lot of things about Belichick, and people judge him for the girlfriend thing, but like I think this is ridiculous. He should be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, it's stupid. But I guess I kind of get it. It took Carlos Beltran. It took Carlos Beltran 4 years to get into baseball's Hall of Fame because of the whole Astros thing. Not saying that Beltran's a first ballot Hall of Famer, nor does Beltran even match anywhere of Belichick's pedigree relative to that of Major League Baseball. But I do think that Beltran should have got in probably earlier than he did, and the hesitance was because of all the Astros cheating stuff. And I'm actually surprised that he got in this year, but he did. And he just kind of accepted it and moved on. And I think that's also a problem with Belichick. He hasn't really said that he cheated, right?
No.
Yeah, he hasn't like admitted to it.
Well,
there's been a lot of reports, but Belichick hasn't like come out and straight up apologized for spying on other guys' practices.
Yeah.
Kind of always danced around it, right?
But does he need to?
In the eyes of the Hall of Fame voters, yeah. It doesn't make them any more right. Like, it's stupid. It needs to be Belichick. But at the end of the day, he doesn't get in this year. He's probably going to get in next year. Because the Pro Football Hall of Fame, I think, benefits from baseball's Hall of Fame in that people actually look at it with, like, legitimacy. And it's one that can be taken seriously, where it feels like they're getting the best of the best. Whereas in baseball, you don't feel like you're getting the best of the best. So, maybe the voters will change their minds. Plus, he had 40 of 50, right? How many was needed? I think like 40. Was it 42?
He needed 40 of 50.
Oh, he needed 40 of 50, but didn't get the necessary 40 of 50.
Yeah, I would love to see the numbers, but
yeah, okay, gotcha. All right, I read that wrong.
Yeah, there is no like, do you know the three words they use, Stephen, for when it comes to the Baseball Hall of Fame, that you need to uphold integrity or your character, whatever it is. We brought it up during the whole Barry Bonds thing every year. The whole Barry Bonds thing happens every year. We have this conversation. Yeah. There is no like, I don't know, like a criteria when it comes to you have to be this type of person off the field in order to be voted into the Hall of Fame, or you have to be that person on the field as well. So if they're holding the cheating scandals against Bill Belichick, I think that's a little ridiculous. I do, because yes, it sounds like there was some shady stuff going on with the Spygate stuff. I personally didn't care about any of that, but whatever, to each their own. The Deflategate stuff, I didn't care either, but that's Tom Brady's doing. So is he going to have the same situation where he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer? They're going to hold it against Bill Belichick, but not Brady? I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
but Brady's more of an ambassador to the game. Like, I think the fact that Tom Brady's all over the NFL on Fox. I remember Bonte had a theory with,
if you're good on TV.
Yeah, the Terrell Davis angle, where it's like, with that type of career longevity, like, he thinks it was in part because he was on NFL Network and he's talking about the league, and that helped his Hall of Fame candidacy.
With Terrell Davis?
Yeah.
I think that applies to certain guys, but hey, that rhymed. But I think that I don't even like. I remember Terrell Davis on NFL Network, but I don't think a lot of people do. I just think that he accomplished a shit ton in such a short amount of time.
Right.
But I do think that he's right about that for other players in particular.
So the fact that Tom Brady's like an analyst right now, that helps his case. Whereas Belichick just said, "Screw this! I'm going to go to North Carolina and try to start my own dynasty there."
Yeah, and also with Brady, I mean, he's well liked and he's considered the GOAT, the greatest of all time when it comes to quarterback play. So I would be surprised. It's just now we're the NFL's not going to comment on this because they released a statement saying like we'll have a full response to this once the NFL honors takes place, and they want you to watch this show now, which I think is just terrible.
Yeah.
Who's hosting it this year? John Hamm. At least, I mean, like sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's just not. And I think we're past the point where we need a award ceremony for athletes. The ESPYs, the NBA got rid of their award show. Just like do what the NBA does now in MLB, where you just announce the winners. Like then we're holding this up. Like we already know who should be Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett, and probably MVP is going to be Matthew Stafford. We don't need to hold this up any longer. But I understand they want the pomp and circumstance. The Super Bowl is happening in Santa Clara, so they'll hold it at some venue close by. But
Palace of Fine Arts.
San Francisco. Nice. But this kind of taints it, where now this is what we'll talk about for 2 weeks, along with the game. But I'm sure everybody's going to have an opinion on this. And it hurts the class that I'm sure is going to consist of Drew Brees, maybe Eli Manning, Larry Fitzgerald. And it sounds like Robert Kraft will get in. So people will shit on Kraft and not appreciate Bill Belichick. Or I shouldn't say not appreciate Belichick, but they'll be mad that Belichick's not in. And he'll get in next year, but that prolongs other guys that are eligible, like Mike Shanahan and Mike Holmgren.
Yeah.
Not to mention guys that, 49er fans and Raider fans have been waiting a long time. George Seifert.
Yeah.
Tom Flores is already in, thank God, but waiting on Jim Plunkett. So I don't know. I think that's just stupid. I think that this is just some gatekeeping bullshit, and it's really gotten into the baseball territory when it comes to the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah. I mean, it's got a ways to go to become just an embarrassment like the Baseball Hall of Fame, but this is a start, that's for sure. But not having Tom Brady in first ballot would be sacrilegious.
Yeah, but then again, like I don't know, I'm a little shocked by this, but I mean Brady should be in. That'd be insane. There'd be more reaction than what's going on right now with Belichick. And I see some people just be like, well, you should have been nicer to people. I don't think you need to be nice to the media to get to the Hall of Fame. I think that's stupid. I think it's dumb that we have to rely on media members in order to get in, but they should be impartial and not hold a grudge against somebody because they were mean to them or gave you them curt answers.
Right. That's where the hypocrisy comes in, right? It's like the whole point of writers is to be impartial. And okay, a guy was mean to you, but that's not being impartial. That's just how the player is. Like if you're going to be a dick to the player, it's nothing personal. It's all business.
Yeah.
But
that's where
you're going to take that and just tie their hands behind their back and just say, yeah, you're not allowed to go towards the hall. You're not allowed to get a busting camp because you were mean.
And that's the complete opposite of Lynn Jones, right? Where everybody was like, that's not true journalism. She was nice. She was being nice.
Yeah.
Maybe being nice goes a long way, everybody. The irony. Should we get into these conference championship games, Steven?
Of course, man.
All right, let's do it. So between the two, which one was your favorite?
What do you think?
We'll get to the Broncos and Patriots. And I love everything football. That was hard to watch.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. Like,
of course.
There's been some snoozers in history where I haven't watched it. It's before my time. A lot of low-scoring playoff games.
Sure.
And, I'm okay with a rock fight. I'm okay with a defensive slugfest. But it's just – and I even love snow games. But that 10-7 Patriots win to decide who goes to the Super Bowl, you're going to find out that I don't think very highly of the Patriots going forward. But we'll get to that later. Seahawks and Rams was a whole hell of a lot of fun. And, by the way, Steven, you have hot sauce to do because I was closer in score. It pays to be a little closer by picking a total of 54, but it was 58.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Yep. Steven's bringing out, what, we got tortilla chips?
Yeah, man.
Nice. Mm-hmm. All right, so while he's getting that ready, I'll do my spiel here.
Yeah.
To me, this was the real Super Bowl. Like, older 49er fans will remember in 94, there was the Cowboys and 49ers where they were trying to get over the hump. And Sports Illustrated had an article that said, this is the real Super Bowl, where the Chargers and Steelers played an AFC championship game, and it was a foregone conclusion that whoever was going to win that game was going to lose to either of those two teams. And that's what I felt watching this game, where the Rams and the Seahawks were the best teams and the most complete teams for the majority of the season. Sam Darnold with the best game of his career, and I had a big, question mark about him going into the playoffs.
Right.
I thought that,
as did everyone.
Yeah, and it's only natural where he played well a year ago against or for the Minnesota Vikings, and now people are going to say like, why did you let him go? Why did you go with JJ McCarthy? And that, that's bound to happen because they drafted a quarterback. But in hindsight now, it bit you in the ass. And I think you have to look to Kyle Shanahan resurrecting Sam Darnold's career. And it may benefit Mac Jones this offseason, where if he was just a backup, it played one game for that 2023 49ers team, and then Kevin O'Connell's like, all right, if he can hang with Kyle and his scheme, then I'm sure he can do fine with the Minnesota Vikings. Signed him. They had a 14-3 season, and then things went bad when it mattered the most in the Week 18 game and the first round of the playoffs in the wild card round. But yeah, dude, he changed the narrative, and it went back to the Week 16 matchup where the Rams and Seahawks played, and he came back in that game down 30-14, throwing in touchdown passes in the 2-point conversion, and then he was flawless in this game.
Yeah,
he didn't have to do much against the 49ers in this game. I thought it was Sam Darnold's, the biggest moment of his career as you eat a chip.
All right, I got you. There we go. Huh. Huh.
Got water, milk, anything?
Ow! I hit my knuckle off the desk. Everything's going wrong. Sam Darnold, man.
Yeah, Ernie's right. Finest hour for him.
Oh. Yeah, Rick Ross. Oh. Yeah, I mean, obviously I don't disagree with anything you said. He was flawless. He really was. He was damn near perfect. Like, I don't know what else anyone could have expected him to do in this game any more than he did in this game. Just the throws that he was making. Him and Jackson Smith and Jigba, just so connected. They were so fun to watch. And then, Jake Bobo getting his shine. Cooper Kupp coming up big in big spots as he usually has. He's not going to put up the yards that he did back in 2021 when he was a Triple Crown guy, but he's definitely going to have he's been making his presence felt all playoffs. I mean, it was just so to come back from what everyone said too, but I kind of feel like it's still this idea. We do this thing every year where we talk about the Super Bowl matchup.
Yeah.
And we base it on the quarterbacks. And it's like, who the hell would want to see Sam Darnold versus Drake May, which is just so unfair. Like, have you
we already know, Steven, that it was going to be that matchup because they were the closest guys to that graphic.
Yeah, we should have known.
Yeah. Script writers.
But have you seen Kumail Nanjiani's new stand-up?
I have not.
Any clips of it? Like, because he's been on quite a ride, right? Like, as far as his professional career, going from like Silicon Valley, and then he got buff to make a Marvel movie, and then
is he still buff?
Yeah.
Is he still complaining that he got a lot of hate for being buff?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. Like, I feel for you in some ways. Like, social media hate sucks, but you're buff now.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. He's like, I'm the only one who's ridiculed for being buff.
Yeah.
I tried not to be a nerd, and now I became a buff guy, and now everyone thinks I'm stupid for being a buff guy because my movie sucked.
That's fair.
I just feel like we're at that stage with Darnold now. It's like, what else can I do? It's like, okay, Darnold can't win the big game. Finally wins the big game. Oh, Darnold in the Super Bowl. I'm not looking forward to that Super Bowl because it's Sam Darnold in the Super Bowl. Who cares about a Sam Darnold Super Bowl? It's like, who made the rules here? Can't get past it. But listen, it was a really fun game. I thought, getting beyond Darnold, I did think Sean McVay made a little bit of a mistake.
Yeah. We'll get to that in
second half. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go. No, finish your thought. Go ahead.
Yeah. Just opening that second half with the extra point after the touchdown instead of going for 2.
You thought that was the biggest mistake?
Mm-hmm.
I thought
then the timeouts at the end, running out of timeouts.
The timeouts not challenging the Cooper Kupp play.
Yeah.
That bit him in the ass. So you're talking about when they could have me see what you're talking about here. The score was 17-13.
Once they made it, once the Seahawks took a 24-13 lead after the muffed punt,
right?
The Rams responded right with a touchdown. Instead of going for 2 and then potentially getting a field goal, getting within field goal range, he only kicked the point after, and then down the stretch, when Stafford is just driving them downfield and they're down 31-27.
Yeah.
In position for a field goal, but instead they were forced to go for it on 4th and 6. And we know what happened there, but that's kind of the beautiful part of football. It's all hindsight 2020. Like, I could say that, but at the end of the day, when you're making decisions in real time, you don't really think the game's going to go that way. At the end of the day, like with the timeouts, they should have been more efficient using those, but also maybe they should have just completed the play on 4th and 6 after they had some time to discuss it. Like, just execute.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, but I didn't consider about a big problem with Sean McVay in this game was the fact that he didn't go for 2. I was wondering early on in the third quarter after the Devontae Adams touchdown, should they have gone for 2? But I also get like it's 9:41 left in the third quarter. You don't want to be chasing points. But then again, after the Puka Nacua touchdown that you were gifted, and we'll get to that in a little bit, maybe you should have gone for 2 there. And yeah, that's a good point, Steven, because the Seahawks didn't score in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And then that 4th down doesn't need to be where you have to go for it. You can just tie the game up there. Good point. But as far as the game itself and with the Seahawks performance, I thought that maybe Zach Charbonnet was the injury was going to be a big factor in this. And Kenneth Walker, there's a reason why they didn't use him a ton in the regular season. They used Charbonnet more. It's for moments like this. And yeah, man, Jake Bobo making plays, Cooper Kupp coming through, getting vengeance on his former team. Rashid Shaheed might have been the best acquisition at the trade deadline, where he's been a huge factor scoring touchdowns on special teams and not offense in this game, but the punt return he had against the Rams in the Week 16 matchup, the kickoff return against the 49ers, and then the huge play to start the game, I think it was like 52 yards, whatever it was. He's been huge for them, and he's a Clint Kubiak guy. But I got to give a ton of credit to the Seahawks defense as well, because they really have been the most complete team from start to finish this season. I know that the Week 1 matchup against the 49ers, their offense was still kind of trying to get the groove of things. It was a little inept, but then they started to pour it on with points. Really, the only defensive letdown they had this season was against the Rams, but they won that game. The shootout they had against the Buccaneers, where Sam Darnold just threw a pick at the end, and that's why they lost it. Yeah. But for the most part,
I don't necessarily. I don't think they had like the most. I don't think they had the most complete roster all season. I do think they had the most complete roster after the trade deadline, and Rashid Shaheed was their Jerry Maguire. You complete me.
Oh, I like that. I thought you were going to go Rod Tidwell there. Great wide receiver. Show me the money. And they have to show Rashid Shaheed the money this offseason. I just thought that equal parts offensively and defensively, they were that complete. Yes, the Rams were a solid offense, but we've been saying for the majority of the season that their defense, the last 9 games of their season, giving up an average of 27 points.
Yeah.
And then maybe that's why Chris Shula didn't get the Steelers gig. We'll talk about that a little later. But their defense, man, you and I were talking about the game at the beginning of the season. We were picking our teams, and we went through the NFC West, and Michael Strahan brought this up with Mike McDonald in the post game, where it was like, you were an afterthought to the Seahawks and the 49ers. What do you have to think about? What do you have to say about that?
Yeah.
It beat them in the playoffs. We did not care. Almost reminds me of Tommy Lee Jones in The Fugitive. Yeah. I didn't kill my wife. I don't care. He's a man of few words and few time or little time to spend with his son too. Only 30 minutes once a week, but which is come on, man, that's my whole childhood. Anyway, as far I would kill for 30 minutes. But as far as the defense, they went out in free agency. Get DeMarcus Lawrence, who called out the Cowboys when he was signed, saying now I have a chance to actually win a Super Bowl. And people were like, really? But they were a 10-7 team, didn't make the playoffs. And you and I were talking about it before the season starts. We're like, are they better than Arizona? And the big question mark was Sam Darnold, and they changed their whole offense. They brought in Clint Kubiak. They got rid of DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett and traded away Geno Smith to the Raiders, and it all worked out. And that defense, yeah, they drafted Byron Murphy 2 years ago. They get Leonard Williams in a trade a couple years ago. And really the big acquisition, in my opinion, was Nick Emanwari, and he should be Defensive Rookie of the Year. And that guy, I mean, dude, you can use him anywhere. He could be a rush, outside linebacker. He could be a safety. He could be a corner. The way that he was in coverage on Puka Nacua and running backs in this game made the difference to me.
He's Kyle Hamilton. He's Kyle Hamilton 2.0, man.
Exactly. And even though the defense had letdowns in this game, where with big plays, Puka Nacua touchdown, it's just because Matthew Stafford is just that good. But really, what killed the Rams was their one special teams gaffe, where Xavier Smith muffed that punt. Yeah, and that's something that Kyle Shanahan has always said, that he doesn't admit this, but I think we all can say that he doesn't really care about special teams. And that's kind of the deal with all these play callers, man. I love them all. I love Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan and Matt LaFleur, but they don't really focus on every aspect of the game. They want their defense to play a certain style, and they expect their defensive coordinators to take care of that. But when it comes to special teams, they don't emphasize how important that is. And yeah, Sean McVay fired his special teams coordinator and Chase Blackburn earlier this year. But like some of these guys like Mike Vrabel or Mike McDonald or some of these CEO coaches stress that. So that's something that Sean McVay needs to emphasize going forward, in my opinion.
Sure. Yeah, that's actually going to be an interesting thing that the 49ers do this offseason. I think Sky Moore's a free agent, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Interesting to see what they do with him, because him at returner, that's as good as they've looked at special teams all season. Granted, they had their problems with the kicker, but then Eddie Pinheiro came in and then, turned everything around. So maybe Shanahan's ahead of the curve on them with that. Yeah, I didn't actually buy that was going to be the turning point of the game. As soon as I'm supposed to mention this on the podcast, but I'm mentioning this out of just the goodwill of my heart, not because I was told to. I'm doing this because I'm a good guy.
All right.
But watching those games with Jesse, she saw the muff punt, saw the Seahawks immediately score and go up 24-13, and she goes, "Yeah, this game's over." I'm like, "No, it's not. There's 13 minutes left in the second half. Still got a long way to go." "Yeah, I kind of think the game's over." I'm like, "No, you still got a few quarters to play. Still got a few minutes to play. Still got a couple quarters. I don't think it's over." Then sure enough, it became really the turning point. Like, we could talk about fourth downs and timeouts and all that, but that muff punt changed everything.
Agreed. And I think that, to Jesse's credit, yes. I was thinking the same thing, where that made a side of the game. I don't know if the game's over, but that was the turning point, 100%.
Yeah.
And yeah, but give credit to the Rams, man. Like, in 2 games against the Seahawks, I don't have the stats in front of me, but they put up a shit ton of points and lost. And that's a credit to Matthew Stafford. Really, this Rams offense didn't have any problems the entire season. Yes, they may have screwed up every now and then with turnovers, that game against the Carolina Panthers, but they put up 28 points in that game. And then they won in the playoffs against them. Their offense was unstoppable for the majority of the season, with the exception of the 49ers making some plays in that Week 5 matchup. Yeah. But really, it was their defense. Their defense let them down. And yes, they have a ton of talent. We bring up the names, Jared Verse and Brandon Fisk, but they don't get to the quarterback nearly enough as far as this season. I know they were rookies a year ago and they put up good stats, but they weren't difference makers. They didn't really get clutch plays out of their defense. So that's something that they need to improve upon. And it sounds like they're going to retain Chris Shula. But I will say, I thought the Rams were going to win the game when Tariq Woolen tips that pass. Should have got both hands on it for interception. Turns out to be a 4th and 12. And then he gets called for taunting. Now, should they have thrown the flag? I don't think so. I think that's a weak-ass call in a playoff game. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, we're dictating first downs by taunting, by talking shit. I understand that's a penalty. And yes, he was demonstrative and was talking shit to Matthew Stafford and a bunch of Rams on the sideline. And the referee did warn him. But we're throwing penalties on that? Anyway, That's his fault, 100%. And then he goes after him right away with Puka Nakua. And that's when I was like, okay, maybe they should have gone for 2 there. You're right about that, Steven. But once they scored off of that, just boom, 34 yards, I thought the Rams were going to win the game. And then the Seahawks didn't do anything offensively after that. They moved the ball after they stopped it on 4th down. But that drive was so long. How long was that drive? 14 plays, and it came up with nothing for the Rams. And really what killed them was the 3rd and 1 where Colby Parkinson got his hands on the ball but dropped it. So they had chances in this game, and it's just by that much. The Seahawks were the better team, but the Rams were that close. So, yeah, this was the Super Bowl to me, 100%.
Yeah. And I don't know. I know we're going to go to the Patriots and Broncos, but there's something just kind of laughable that I saw with the Patriots and their strength of schedule this season, and it really put it into perspective, and that's why I kind of see this. We can keep talking about the Seahawks, Patriots, and Super Bowl 49, but I kind of see this more like the outcome of Super Bowl 48. But again, that's for a little later. But
beatdown.
Yeah, and especially just the NFL needed it. I think most feel the divisional weekend's probably the best weekend in football, but the Broncos and Patriots opened with a stinker, and it gets to the point where everyone's making these blanket statements that the NFL needs to get every stadium with a retractable roof. You cannot have any cold weather games like that again. Like, what's the NFL doing? That was unwatchable, blah, 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 blah. But it was still dramatic, and you never know what could have happened in that game. It just so happened that nothing happened. So it was extremely boring. But yeah, it was the Super Bowl because these were two of the more complete teams. Like, if you had to power rank them, you'd probably put the Seahawks and Rams at the top 2. And you probably would have put Broncos and Patriots 3 and 4 had the Broncos actually had their starting quarterback.
Yeah, I agree with that. As far as the not controversial, but the play where Cooper Kupp, it was a 3rd and 7, and the Rams had 2 timeouts, 3:20 left. Sam Darnold hits Cooper Kupp for 7 yards, and it's debatable if he gets the first down. So the clock's running, and you need to get the ball back. You're down by 4. You need to score a touchdown. And Sean McVay calls a timeout immediately. Now, if you challenge the play and you don't get it, then you're out of timeouts. You're basically fucked. You're going to lose the game. So you also have the 2-minute warning, though. So that wasn't play. I thought that it was close, and maybe Sean McVay shouldn't have challenged, but maybe you shouldn't have been so trigger happy and just called that timeout immediately. I don't know. That's debatable. It's fair to say that maybe his game management skills were not great at the end of this game. I also don't think he should have called the 3rd timeout right after that play. So he calls a timeout. Then the Seahawks run their play on 1st and 10. And then Sean McVay calls a timeout, the last timeout, with 3:05 left. Probably going to put that last timeout in your back pocket. Even Tom Brady criticized Sean McVay for that. So, look, Sean McVay's the best, one of the best as far as play calling, but I think you saw some of his deficiencies when it came to calling the game.
Does Mike LaFleur, or did Mike LaFleur call plays?
No, I think it's Sean, and it's kind of the same deal with Clay Kubiak, where Kyle makes it seem like, well, he calls plenty of plays for us. No, it's you. You're the guy.
Yeah, we know you're the guy.
You're the guy, and you want everybody to know that too. Yeah. And Sean does as well. They come up with plays, but they don't call them. No.
Right. Okay. Because you got to delegate it, because it feels like
so.
Yeah, because we see this happen all the time, especially with these offensive guys. Like, like the Rams, they won the Super Bowl, and of course they did. Not taking anything away, but they were just, funnily enough, it was a muffed punt that kind of helped get them to the Super Bowl in the first place, getting by the 49ers in the NFC Championship that year, and then beating the Bengals with a Joe Burrow-led team that was still really young and inexperienced, and you had Matthew Stafford, who was one of the good quarterbacks, an all-time, not an all-time great, but one of the greats. And to be honest, I don't really remember anything in terms of game management at that time. But it feels like that's just the common thread that you're hearing with all of these guys. It's just always game management stuff, clock management. It's like if you're focusing so much on the offense and trying to move the ball downfield, you're just gonna give yourself a aneurysm, like an overload of information.
Yeah, you see the difference with
Mike Vrabel.
I
didn't have a brain aneurysm after the game. I just went a little crazy because I can on the sideline. It happens from time to time, but hey, that's football. I love football. I love what I do, and no brain aneurysm for me.
I did like him the Friday before the game being like, yeah, I turn 40 tomorrow, and if anybody brings it up, I'm going to slap the shit out of you. I also liked him in the postgame of this where if we can find the clip, that'd be incredible, where he's asked, you think Matthew Stafford's coming back next year, Sean? Yeah. The hell kind of question is that?
Right.
he got all pissy. Like he goes into like not a tirade, but like well, yeah, I mean, I expect Matthew to be the starting quarterback for us next year. What kind of question is that? I appreciate you guys. You guys do a lot of great work for us. I'll see you next year. It's like walks off like diplomatically, but he's ridiculous. I hear you, but I think that's why these guys get these jobs is because they do call plays. Like Mike McDonald, same deal. He is the defensive play caller for the Seahawks on the on that side of the football. So I think if you're going to get these jobs, like Robert Saleh now is going to call plays for Tennessee, that's why you got the gig in the first place. But you just need to be better at clock management, something that Andy Reid was not good at for a good deal of time. But he figured it out. I think a lot of guys just figure it out. But yeah, not Sean McVay's finest moment, but it's called a great game offensively.
Yeah.
So yeah, then it led to a lot of questions in the post game. Is Matthew Stafford going to come back? And Stafford answered the question by saying, "I'm not going to generalize the next 6 months of my life, but come on, you had to knew that was coming. Like it's not like a question out of the blue. I know he rolled his eyes and everything, but I think the Rams are a good young team, and they'll be back." And I didn't even realize Devontae Adams has lost the conference championship 5 times. So that sucks for him. But good for Sam Darnold, especially when he's going to face a team in the New England Patriots. Not the same team, obviously, but a team that made him say at one point in time, I'm seeing ghosts. So that'll be good to exercise those demons. I feel like the whole narrative of him will be changed. And maybe we'll start thinking about first-round draft picks a different way where automatically they're not a bust. Maybe they're just taken too high. Maybe that's the case for Fernando Mendoza, where you can't just throw him on the Jets or the Raiders, and hopefully they put him in the right scheme for this. But maybe if they get Clint Kubiak, that'd be fantastic because you need to set everything up for him around him. The offensive line needs to be perfect. His receivers and running back need to be perfect, and the defense needs to be perfect. And some people will be like, well, then are they really that good of a quarterback? Some guys are like that. Everybody's not going to be everybody's not going to be Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. So if you have the talent as far as throwing the football, but it needs to be set up perfectly for you, then maybe you're in the wrong scheme. Maybe you shouldn't be with Adam Gase or Matt Rule.
Agreed. But there's going to be that asterisk that those big-time players that you mentioned, well, they weren't in the NFC, so who did Sam Darnold really beat? There's always going to be something out there. But Super Bowl champ would be something you can't take away. I don't the Sam Darnold stuff, I can't stand it. Like I really can't. Not the Sam Darnold, the person or the story, but the reaction to it, the discourse around it. It's just going to every level to try and diminish what this guy's done in his career. Whether it's, well, he has a good team around him. Like, what do you think is going to happen? Like, he's just a backup. He's just everything that's gone against him, calling him a bust when he was with 2 broken franchises in the first place. Who clearly had a ton of talent and why he was selected 3rd overall. But I think it's a case study into the development of said quarterbacks and whether they are truly ready right away. It just feels like we did actually write him off, funnily enough, that he took over for Geno Smith. But this guy's harmless. He's like just the most harmless quarterback. It's like for Fernando Mendoza. I dare you to call him phony after he's hugging that lady who's in a wheelchair. He's signing autographs at an event, and there were something.
He's a nice young man. He's a nice young man.
Yes, right. And like Sam Darnold is just, watching birds on his phone and just guessing which one it is based on the hell was that? I mean, it's just it doesn't make any sense, man. And maybe that's my problem. Like, I shouldn't get caught up in all the discourse around it. And that's something that really gets to me as a sports fan, because we're just all over social media and just seeing everyone's reaction time after time. And I'm almost get more passionate about the reaction rather than I do the player. But
Yeah.
God, we're just so hell-bent on trying to take this guy's career, shove it down a toilet, and just throw as much shit in it as we can.
Well, yeah, you're going to see that right after he wins this thing, and I do think he's going to win it.
Yeah.
Where, yeah, people will be like, well, he didn't go up against one of the greatest teams of all time. It wasn't like Patrick Mahomes going up against the Niners or the Eagles.
Right.
Yeah, okay. So we'll have the same path as a Brad Johnson or a Trent Dilfer. But you know what? He's better than those guys. He actually, not saying those guys didn't do anything, but like, he's a first-round draft pick, and so was Trent Dilfer. But I don't know.
It's different.
It's 100% different. He actually fits the scheme. They won games because of him. You think Jackson Smith and Jigba's catching passes by himself?
Right.
So, yeah, it's a good story. And, again, anything can happen. We'll see what happens against the Patriots and the Seahawks. But I got to believe that they're going to I don't think it'll be a blowout. It could be. But I think the Seahawks are just the better team. We'll get to the Patriots in a little bit here. But just watching this game, I think we have a good idea of who the next Raiders coach is going to be, and I think I said it when the season ended. The way that it was described, though, in awful announcing. Did you see this headline? Tom Brady gives Clint Kubiak a tongue bath while commentating the NFC Championship game.
Ooh.
It's a little much, but he was glowing. He was giving him a ton of praise during this, and I go back to Brady trying to, kind of hold himself together against Ben Johnson when calling his playoff game a year ago. But now Brady has seen the Seahawks offense back-to-back weeks. Yeah, I do think Clint Kubiak's going to be your Raiders head coach.
I agree.
And I think that a lot of people are saying right now, like, oh, these are the three worst jobs, the Cardinals, the Raiders, and the Browns. And, of course, the Raiders can't find a coach. They have a coach in mind. Just a matter of, I have seen this out there. Mike Sando is saying that he's not 100% sure that Clint Kubiak would take the gig because he's had to move around a lot, and this is a place where he's comfortable, and he doesn't really have the personality of a head coach. But eventually you're going to have to be a head coach, buddy, because your offense is too damn good. So I would say the Raiders can't wait for 2 weeks and then be told by Clint, hey, I'm sorry, I'm staying put here. They need to know now. And I guess it was down to Clint Kubiak or Davis Webb. And look, I think that Davis Webb is this guy that's getting built up in this league. He's very young. I think he's only 31. He's been a coach for a few years now. Doesn't call plays. He does, kind of collaborate with Sean Payton in that offense for the Broncos as the pass game coordinator. I would not make him a head coach just yet. I think that he actually needs to take over an offense himself. And so it sounds like that's going to happen because Joe Lombardi was fired today by the Denver Broncos. Wouldn't be the least bit surprised that Davis Webb's elevated to being the offensive coordinator there. So I think it's going to be Clint Kubiak.
Most assumed, it was reported out there that he was probably just fielding interviews just to get the experience of going through the interview process first.
Right.
He'll likely just be a top candidate in next year's coaching cycle, which there's nothing wrong with that. Just have 1 year as an OC. Like, it's okay. Yeah, I think Clint, that's what I thought earlier when I saw the Brian Daboll thing. It's like Brian Daboll's already getting himself a backup option. Like, what the words I read when it said like contingent on becoming head coach of the Raiders, and what I actually read was contingent on whether the Raiders and Clint Kubiak agreed to a deal.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's pretty much where this thing is headed. I think that Clint, you might see the Browns hire Nate Shieldhouse. It sounds like that may happen. It sounds like the Cardinals may lock up Mike LaFleur as their head coach, which would be interesting because it's two Rams offensive coaches.
Yeah.
And then if we don't see a Raiders head coach, most likely it's going to be Clint Kubiak. Like a year ago when the Saints, we all knew that Kellen Moore was going to take that job as soon as the Super Bowl was over. And Kellen Moore, if you want to talk about like bad situations, that Saints job was terrible a year ago with no cap situation. Derek Carr was injured. You didn't know about his future. And quarterback-wise, I don't know what they were going to do. So at least you know who your quarterback's going to be with Fernando Mendoza. I think it would be a good situation for Clint Kubiak. Yes, it's an uphill battle to compete with the Chiefs, the Broncos, and the Chargers, but you're with Tom Brady. Occasionally he's not always going to be there. Seems like he's invested in the Raiders in the offseason, and then during the playing season he has to be a broadcaster, which totally makes sense. But if John Spytek is this guy that we expect him to be, where he's a good evaluator of talent, I think it would be a good situation. Again, as you always say, Steven, like, I'm going to not get hyped up for anything because we never know with the Raiders. But at least if you get Clint Kubiak with Fernando Mendoza, I think that's promising.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I did that thing. I did the thing. The thing. Seeing Rashid Shaheed. Oh, maybe Trey Tucker can be in that role. I did the thing.
I'd rather have Rashid Shaheed with Trey Tucker. Yeah.
I had that cross my mind. I did.
Yeah. And Brock Bowers could be AJ Barner.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Brock, but no, there's no competition there. Like, Brock Bowers is Brock Bowers.
Well, I know, but you can use
AJ Barner has a ways to go to be Brock Bowers.
I hear you, but you can use him in the barnyard formation.
Oh, wow. The possibilities.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
So I think that's going to happen. And yeah, you mentioned, Steven, because Joe Brady is now your head coach with the Buffalo Bills, Brian Daboll. Yes, contingent on being the Raiders head coach, but it sounds like he already verbally committed to being the Tennessee Titans offensive coordinator. I guess there's a connection there with Robert Saleh, where they were both head coaches in New York at the same time.
And good on Gary Kubiak and the matriarch of the Kubiak family for naming their middle names with the letter A. I think it's Anthony and Alexander or something. So you don't want two sons with their initials KKK.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good call. So they're just CAC.
I looked it up. Had to make
sure. Curious. You're curious.
I really was. I was like, what if there's just a really poor lack of judgment?
Come on, Gary. You can't do that.
Come on, it'd be funny.
Yeah. It's a joke for a little while, and then you got to live with that for the rest of your life.
Good Lord. Yeah. So there you go. They got that going for them.
CAC.
Yeah.
Okay. As far as the AFC Championship game, look, I thought that Jared Stidham looked good initially. That drive. Seriously, I mean, between the two quarterbacks, I thought Jared Stidham played better.
Yeah.
And I know that he had the pivotal fumble, but as far as like quarterback play from start to finish, yes, the completion percentage for both quarterbacks was terrible. And Drake May finished with 86 yards passing. But yeah, if the snow doesn't happen, I'm sure it's a more competitive. Well, it was competitive. It was, the game was decided by 3 points, but at least it's watchable. And it's a playoff game, so we all watched. But that one pass he threw to Marvin Mims that set up the touchdown for the Broncos, beautiful throw. And people are killing Sean Payton for the 4th down decision. I see both arguments. The offense was humming. If you go up 14-0, then you probably win the game. The play call was bad. You should just probably. I understand like Sean Payton gets all technical with the reason why they went for it there and didn't do a QB sneak, but just do the simple play there. The fumble, that's debatable. I thought that could have gone either way. I didn't know if that was a forward pass or not, but I guess it went backwards.
Tuck rule.
Tuck rule?
It just reminded me so much of Tuck rule.
A little bit. And I think it's bullshit where the refs blow the whistle and then the play can't be continued. That's a defensive touchdown for the Patriots, and lucky enough they scored on that possession. But it was only what? Like how long was that drive for the Patriots on that play? Like nothing. It was 2 plays for 12 yards. So you give a ton of credit to the Patriots. They had a really good season. And Drake May is probably going to finish second in MVP voting. But as far as his performance in the postseason, the defense really is the reason why they're going to the Super Bowl. Yes, he played fine against the Chargers, and he threw 3 touchdown passes against the Texans. I don't think they did really much in this game. By the end of it, when the snowstorm hit, it was just who can not turn the ball over. Let's just run the ball repeatedly and then punt it back to the opposition, and then we'll just wait on Jared Stidham to throw an interception. So, look, it's an AFC Championship game. it's a playoff game, but it didn't feel like one to me.
No, and it was just those snow games. It's never just like a mediocre football game, because a football game it's usually, well, if it's boring through 3/4, things might pick up in the fourth. Rarely is it just dismal through all 4 quarters, through the entirety of the 60 minutes, unless you're talking Raiders and Broncos on Thursday Night Football. It's funny that the Broncos were involved in 2 of like the worst games this season.
Both the same score, 10-7.
Yeah, both 10-7. And so, yeah, I mean, I had my eye on it, but after a while, it just became ridiculous. Like, and also the accompanying broadcast, Tony Romo, and not Jim Nantz so much, but Tony Romo has declined, and Tom Brady has really taken on the challenge of becoming a better broadcaster, and I commend him for that. He's become a lot better and more entertaining. I'd still take Greg Olson over him for the number 1 team on Fox.
100%.
But that's also, I'm kind of just trying to prop another guy up while bringing another one down. But still, I think Tom Brady's much improved. But Tony Romo hasn't. And it's just, it feels off listening to that. Like, you kind of know it. It feels like Tony Romo knows it as he's calling a game. Like, he just knows that it's not going well. It was just boring. I don't know. Wasn't great all around.
Well, he doesn't get psyched up unless Mahomes or Josh Allen's involved. So this was a lackluster AFC Championship game. I will say that for the circumstances, Jarrett Stidham starting an AFC Championship game with the Patriots and Denver Broncos, Josh Allen's not involved. The outcome, I think, was appropriate because I felt just like, ugh, this is deciding who goes to the Super Bowl. And again, the Buffalo Bills lost fair and square, but they're going to look back on this opportunity and be like, fuck, how do we miss out on this?
Yeah.
Really? Drake May is going to the Super Bowl before us? And really, that's why Sean McDermott got fired. You can bring up all these other excuses, but the truth is the Patriots in one season did something that you couldn't do in 8 now. That's the problem, where Josh Allen still hasn't gone to the Super Bowl. And the New England Patriots did that just in one turnaround, going from 4-13 to 14-3. That's why Sean McDermott got fired, is because Mike Vrabel runs circles around you. That's the truth.
Right.
So
even no matter how they did it either, like it's just, and maybe it's unfair. Maybe it's unfair that we always measure these guys up against their division opponents and seeing what they've done in the past and comparing it to yours. Like, every team should be its own entity, but the idea that Drake May's going to a Super Bowl and Josh Allen isn't, in the stadium in which Josh Allen didn't used to go to that. He used to go to Candlestick, but in the stadium of Josh Allen's favorite team growing up in the 49ers, like, yeah, it's multi-layered for sure. But here's the thing with the Patriots, though. Yeah. And this is why they've always, this is in case any listeners, any viewers have not decided to go look at the Patriots' strength of schedule whenever you've seen that kind of pitted against them through the season. Here's a post that really puts it into perspective. All right. I'm going to go through each week and I'm going to read this verbatim. Week 1, fired coach. Week 2, fired coach. Week 3, fired coach. Week 4, NFC South. Week 5, fired coach. Week 6, NFC South. Week 7, fired coach. Week 8, fired coach. Week 9, fired coach. Week 10, NFC South. Week 11, Jets. Week 12, Bengals. Week 13, fired head coach. Week 15, fired head coach. Week 16, fired head coach. Week 17, Jets. Week 18, fired head coach.
Yeah. Some context to that. Fired head coach could also count for Sean McDermott. So the Bills were good.
Right.
But yeah, their schedule was pretty easy. But give credit to them. They won it. They actually went to the Super Bowl. Yeah. I just don't know if it's going to be, I hate saying it won't be much of a game, because who knows? Sam Darnold could struggle against this New England Patriots defense. But I like to think, like what you were saying earlier, Stephen, like just first glimpse at this matchup, yeah, it probably could be closer to Super Bowl 48, where the Seahawks just bludgeoned the Denver Broncos. And I got to believe with the Patriots offensive line and Will Campbell not holding up very well, a left tackle his rookie year, yeah, they'll probably feast on him.
Yeah. And what's the spread now? It's still 4.5.
4.5. I think that has to go up.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. A lot of money will go in on the Seahawks over the next couple of weeks. Yeah. Yeah. I just, don't see much of an advantage for them. But you know what? If you end Sean Payton's season and you make him pissed off at some fourth down decision that seemed to be a questionable one in the second quarter, and he's lamenting that, I'm all for it. Good on you, Patriots.
Yeah. And to your point with the broadcast, Tony Romo kind of downplayed it today. I saw some clips with him on McAfee where he was like, I don't pay attention to the criticism. I remember going to doing stats for the Raiders-Chiefs game his first year, and him getting in an elevator, looking at his phone, and looking at all the comments on the broadcast. It got to him, so he sees it. He's well aware. We're all human. Tony Romo, I thought initially was too energetic for broadcasts and talking over Jim Nantz. And then he toned it down and predicted plays before they happened, and I liked that. I think some producer must have got to him and been like, yeah, be more like John Madden, joke a little bit more. He's not funny. He's just awkward. He's not funny at all. Tom Brady has gotten better in 1 year, but I will say he's awkward too, where there was that line about the 12s where he was like, yeah, KB, man, Seattle, the 12s. You know why they call them that? Because on a scale of 1 to 10, when it comes to the volume, it goes to 12. No, dude, we're all football fans. We know why they call it the 12. It's the 12th man. That was just dumb.
Mm-hmm. There is still, he still does that thing where he equates something that's happening in the game back to his own career, saying that I would have done this or this is what we would have done. Like, find another way to frame that.
Yeah.
There's got to be another way for you to give a version of that instead of going back to, well, this is what I always did when I was playing. Like, JJ Watt didn't really do that so much with the defensive line. He was more giving an analysis on what the defense should do.
Right.
Instead of equating it back to, well, this is what my team did, and they should do that.
That's a problem with having an all-time great as a broadcaster, because it always goes back to, well, I know what's best.
Right.
So that's why, like, I haven't kept up with it, but the NBA on NBC and that one interview that Tirico did with Michael Jordan, I thank God he's not a broadcaster, because it always goes back to, well, I did it this way. So if you disagree with me, then you're not doing it the right way.
Right.
I think what makes great broadcasters are guys that weren't fantastic because they're open to doing different things. Where if you're Tom Brady or Derek Jeter or Kobe Bryant and you're just maniacal and trying to win, then there's only one way, and that you know is successful, and it's your way. Everything else is wrong.
Right. Right. And I mean, you know, they have the right to think that.
Well, yeah,
I agree. You need Richard Jeffersons.
Or you need Brent Barry.
There you go.
Who's really good on NBA broadcasts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Let's talk a little about the head coaching hires. As I mentioned, Joe Brady is the new Bills head coach. Do you think that one was weird, or do you like that one?
I don't know. I really don't know what Joe Brady's going to be like as a head coach. So wait and see on that.
I don't know either. I just think that was the natural move. I think I brought that up to you in the past, where are they going to fire Sean McDermott for Joe Brady because he's this young, up-and-coming offensive, coordinator, and that's where the league is going, and they don't want to lose him. Josh really likes him. I thought that maybe they were going to go Dable because he could bring that offense in, and Josh likes him a lot, but he changed the running game where before it was very dependent on Josh. So they just need to find better wide receivers. That's going to be the goal of the offseason. I don't hate the move, though. I think that they saw that he was sought after. If they weren't going to hire him, then he was going to go to Baltimore or Philly as their offensive coordinator. So I don't mind that staying in house. He just need to get a good defensive coordinator with him, though.
Right. Right. And it's more like a personnel thing too with the Bills. I think they need to beef up their wide receiver room. I think their defense can always get better. It's not going to get any better next season. I mean, they'd like Ed Oliver to be healthy for the entirety of the year and all that. But, like their defense, Tre'Davious White was getting beat. And you could see the frustration. He took it out on one of the players and ended up getting a penalty for it later in that game in the divisional round. So, I don't know. Kind of uninspiring.
Yeah, but I think
Boring. Just expected. Promote an internal candidate. Why not?
I'd say it's a little promising, but I have no idea how he's going to be as a head coach. I think just the offense will stay the same. It's just the defense needs to be better. Sounds like he wants Jim Leonard, who was a former player safety in this league and is the defensive backs coach for the Broncos. So that could be interesting. Young guys on offense and defense there. The one that I would say is uninspiring is Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, what the hell, man?
Yeah, dude. Before I drove to FanFest on Saturday, I saw that news and I was like, ugh, Mike McCarthy, really? Because I thought it was going to be Chris Shula. I thought the Steelers were going to do what they always do, is get a young defensive mind and be the head coach of the franchise for the next 30 years. And I don't know if Mike McCarthy's going to be the next coach for the next 5 years. 62, whatever he is, 63. I get it, though. They want to change the offense. They haven't found a quarterback in quite some time since Ben Roethlisberger. But this whole narrative that Mike McCarthy is this guy that finds quarterbacks, no. He develops quarterbacks. He really inherits quarterbacks. He didn't draft Aaron Rodgers. He passed on him as the 49ers OC the year before. And then he goes over there, teams up with Brett Favre, then Aaron Rodgers, then gets fired, and Rodgers said some disparaging things about him. Don't know if that's 100% true, but it was written in an article for ESPN. And then he goes to Dallas. He inherits Dak Prescott. The Steelers are expecting him to find their next great QB, and he may get Aaron Rodgers back. Who knows? It's not the reason why they hired him. This whole thing, I'm sure you saw Ed Werder's tweet where he developed quarterbacks, including Joe Montana in Kansas City. Stop this. The hell is that about? That's insane.
He developed Joe Montana in Kansas City?
Yes. That's what Ed Werder tweeted out. And I respect him, but like that's a horrible way to phrase that.
Huh?
Yeah. Go look at the tweet. He said he developed many quarterbacks. Rich Gannon, who I'm like, that was Gruden. Like, no, that was not Mike McCarthy in Kansas City. Right. And then, they say Joe Montana in Kansas City when he was like a offensive quality control coach his first year in the league. Like, are you kidding me? No.
God. That's people. What has he done? Has he bought everyone around the league dinner?
McCarthy?
You know? Yeah, like what has he done to make him so beloved? Like when his name got brought up within this coaching cycle, I'm like, why? His time has passed.
Yeah. He's got that mojo, Steven.
He's got something.
Remember that when it was like it was like his thing with the Cowboys? Like, yeah, we got this mojo going.
Oh my God. Can't believe there's a manhole and he fell in it.
I will say he does win. Like wherever he goes, he does win. But also Mike Tomlin won to get you to 10-7 or 9-8. I will say he is a Pittsburgh guy. So this must be really special for him. Like watching the press conference today, he got all choked up. So that's awesome. That's really cool for him, especially when he's coached these blue blood franchises like the Packers and the Cowboys and the Steelers. That's pretty cool for him to do that. But I'm not anticipating any change. It's gonna be the same outcome as before.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah, you know that's a good comp, Rocket New Era. Mike McCarthy is the NFL Doc Rivers. Yeah, kind of agree with that one. Keeps getting jobs. Same result though. Won one championship and has just kind of lived off of that for a while.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
what did the Steelers defense do last year? Like, let me just
hit or miss.
Let me look at it in points per game.
Good
God, 30. Oh wait, no, that was the postseason. Excuse me. No, that's a regular season. Wait, what?
30th or 30 a game?
30 a game. Hang on a second. This isn't right.
They weren't great.
What
at times they were better, but for the most part,
no, not that.
Their age showed.
God. Oh damn it! Now it's only showing it for the postseason. Oh well, forget me.
Their defense is all right, but they got aging guys. They you know what? When I think about it, it does make sense because when they fired, or sorry, when Mike Tomlin stepped down, he didn't fire him, but when he stepped down, Art Rooney, the second, was like, "We're not doing a rebuild here."
Yeah,
and I get that. Like, you just traded for DK Metcalf and Jalen Ramsey, but honestly, you probably should. Like, you're just going to find a quarterback and then that's enough? No, you need to tear the whole thing down.
Good
so
luck.
That's where Chris Shula would have made sense, but yeah, they just want a quick fix, which is totally not their MO. So, yeah, Jesse Minter was the right move for Baltimore. I don't know about this move for Mike McCarthy. And Steelers fans are not happy about it, which sucks for him because he wants to be embraced by, his local fans, but it sounds like they're all pissed off.
Whatever. They've been over 500 for the last 17, 18 years.
Yeah, and that's all I got, Steven. You wanted to bring up the future of Bay Area sports.
It's just what's there to look forward to. It just feels like every team's in disarray right now. I guess the Giants at some point.
Hey man, I'm watching the Sharks up 4-1 right now.
The Sharks absolutely are. The Sharks are. The Sharks are probably number one, and there's nothing that's even close. Well, the Valkyries, but Valkyries don't have a team. They only have 2 of their players right now. Everyone else is either
a free agent
or restricted free agent.
Ooh.
Dude, 75% of the WNBA is a free agent.
Is that a thing? Where it's expansion draft like that?
They haven't had the expansion draft.
Not literally an expansion draft, but right. You just don't hold on to big contracts like that.
No, they take their contracts from the previous teams. At least with the with the expansion draft, they take the contracts from the previous teams, and most of theirs ended 2025. So the only ones who are coming back next year so far are Carla Late and Kate Martin, and then this first round pick from I think Lithuania or something like that, who didn't play last year. But anyway, I was thinking about it, and I was really caught up, I guess, in just thinking about the Warriors and how they're just on a downward spiral. But the Sharks are the next big thing. It's just a question of how many can this be the type of Sharks team that really gets the Bay Area into hockey? Because I don't know if the other teams did. The other teams were so consistently good.
Yeah.
While the Giants were winning World Series, then the Warriors had its own fan base. I do wonder, what their popularity is gonna look like, because there's a practice video that surfaced earlier where they just got so many people crowded around the players walking back into the tunnel, and it's just at practice. And someone responded to it saying, "Yeah, I worked in that arena when I was 17 years old, and there would be literally nobody at practice. There'd be no fans there. Have some conversation with Brent Burns, and he'd be asking me why I'm doing my job, whatever she was doing on the job."
Yeah.
And I can't remember what it was, but yeah, that just goes to show maybe this is the time when the Bay Area really takes to the Sharks. I think they did before, but I also think that based on when 95.7 did top 10 athletes in the Bay Area of all time, and there really wasn't any love for Sharks, I kind of realized, maybe those teams from 2000, ever since the trade, so about 2006 all the way till 2018, I don't know if they really caught the hearts of the Bay Area like this team is, just because of how bad they were playing these last few years.
Well, you were right. The Giants overshadowed them, and the 49ers did too with the Harbaugh days.
There you go.
The Warriors definitely did. But if those teams are dead or dying, like the Warriors right now, that could happen. But then again, you would know better than me, Steven, being more of a Sharks fan.
Yeah.
Jumbo, Logan Couture, all these guys are on the team. None of them are Macklin Celebrini. That might be the difference, where this guy is the next generational talent, where people are interested in hockey in the Bay Area.
Sure. But and he's a homegrown guy. Joe Thornton was already on the rise before he got here. I mean, he was in the league for, I think, 6 or 7 years. Pavelski would be a better one, because his career started and should have ended with the Sharks. But again, even those guys, I don't think they got as much recognition as the younger guys are getting right now. And maybe that's due to the social media age of things too. They're a great team for social media. They do a lot of stuff. They have TikToks and all that. So they're on the rise. I think that is the most exciting thing to look forward to in 2026 and beyond. I think the Giants will have something to look forward to eventually. I don't know when.
Well, just talking about the Warriors, I don't think they're going to do anything at the deadline. Talking to Marcus Thompson, he was like, they're very comfortable with just standing pat.
Yeah.
And even though Steph Curry, it sounds like from what Marcus is reporting, that he's got trade ideas, and they were like, nah, right now, Steph. And that sucks, because How much longer we got with him? A year and a half? I think it's going to be more. With Steve, I think it's a year and a half. I don't think it's going to be longer than that. I think he's just do one more year with Steph after this. I think if the best way to say it is, I think Steve Kerr likes being Steph Curry's coach, but does not like being the coach of the Golden State Warriors right now. That's the way I see it. He wants to ride off into the sunset with him, and he'll put up with it if that means he finishes his career with him. But as far as like dealing with all the bullshit of Kuminga and Joe Lacob, I think he's over it. And I think some people are coming down Mike Dunleavy's road as far as like being a GM. How difficult of a situation was he put in? Most GMs are able to come in and put their fingerprints on the franchise and start over again. He was told right away, okay, Bob left. You got all this young talent. We know how to use it. Figure it out so Steph gets another championship. It's tough. That's fucking tough for any GM to deal with. So I don't think they're going to do anything because I think they still have this pipe dream in mind that they're going to get Giannis in the summertime. Because now with the calf strain, I don't know if he's going to get dealt at the trade deadline next week. So, yeah, I think they're holding out hope for the summer to go all in on Steph for one last time, but I doubt it.
Well, it's the cycle. Do this all the time. Stand pat, sell or buy at the trade deadline. Even if they do buy at the trade deadline, it's usually something underwhelming unless it's Jimmy Butler last year. But them standing pat now really speaks to the fact that they also think Jimmy Butler's injury kind of doomed their season.
Yeah, because you were hoping to get something in addition to Jimmy Butler.
Right.
Like now they're saying, like, can we just have like something that filled the gap? Like Andrew Wiggins again or DeMar DeRozan? And I wouldn't do that. It doesn't make sense right now.
Yeah. Is this team worth sacrificing future draft picks in order to try and get a star? Is this team worth it? Like, do you want to potentially, I'm not saying this would happen because of the bulk of picks that they got in the trade, but do you really want to turn into the Clippers, trading a bunch to the Thunder in order to acquire Paul George, only for it to come up where, you have to make a series of moves in order to contend again, which they did. But also you're seeing the Thunder build a contender for the next several years, thanks primarily to those draft picks. Like it's really tough, but yeah. Hey, Mike Dunleavy's got like a photo of him getting kicked in the face, and and a lot of the younger Warrior fans that we kind of went off on the last podcast, a lot of them are really good at making memes, so it's funny.
Yeah, whatever.
And I'll say this too, the hypocrisy, like just the one thing with the Warriors, the hypocrisy of people calling out Steve Kerr or saying Steve Kerr should just not talk, like who asked for his opinion when he spoke on the weekend in Minnesota. And it's just the hypocrisy of people who just don't seem to want to hear things from those they're watching. For one, you clearly haven't, if you're disagreeing with what Steve, not even disagreeing, if you're just saying that Steve Kerr has no right to speak on this and he should just stick to basketball and all that, the hypocrisy there, you clearly haven't got to the point where you're looking at these athletes and these coaches as human beings who are allowed to have an opinion and are allowed to use the platform when given the opportunity, but also they were there.
Yeah.
They were in Minneapolis for, unfortunately, what is a weekend that will go down in history, and not just a weekend, but really the last month that will go down in history as just a time where we reflect and think, man, the United States was just brutal back then. Like, yeah. And and I even saw like Evan, he had some really nice words for Kerr and what he said on 95.7 during the Warriors post game. And you and I have kind of said a variation of what he said too, but Evan's really smart. So he probably said it in a smarter way, but I love that guy. But he basically said like, and it's what we've talked about is how much we admire Kerr for being as articulate and outspoken on these topics as it is because of how personal that gun violence is to him.
Absolutely.
People who are losing their life to gun violence. So I would, push back on anyone who says Steve Kerr needs to stay at his lane. And I'd say he has as much of a lane as anyone else to speak on this issue rather than you, me. Like it's, but at the same time, free speech. Like he should be allowed to speak his mind if he wants to. It's just so bizarre, man. And this weekend was already hard enough. And the fact that we just keep on splitting both ways and somehow we just can't even agree that Alex Peretti was just murdered in broad daylight. It's just so sad.
Yeah, it was a long week for the Warriors. I mean, the Jimmy Butler ACL tear and Kuminga getting hurt, but that pales in comparison to what happened on Saturday. And as you said, Stephen, they were there. They witnessed, the streets of Minnesota and what happened after that. And yes, I mean, like, this goes beyond politics, in my opinion. That man was murdered, 100%. So I don't know what the fuck we're talking about here. But you could see on Sunday during that game, the Warriors won, but that place was just silent. And right. Steve is the best at that. Where, okay, if you don't want your coach to talk politics, then by all means, ignore it then. But Steve's well-versed in this. He's educated. He knows what the fuck he's talking about. He learned from the best in Popovich. And he's witnessed things, and he's experienced things. So, yes, he's entitled to have an opinion on it because he's knowledgeable. And I love that he stands up for what he feels is right. So if people have an issue with that, whatever. You can ignore it. You're entitled to think differently, but I think this is not just a political issue. I think it deals with what's going on in our country right now where a man was murdered on the streets. It's insane to me. So, yeah, terrible. But I'm glad Steve said something. I'm glad that Steph said something. And, yeah, sports can get you away from that, hopefully, a little bit. Right. Anyway. As far as the future of the Bay Area, Steve, when it comes to sports, going to FanFest this last weekend and talking to my new best friend, Tony Vitello, there's hope, but I don't know what's going to happen with the Giants. Harrison Bader's a nice signing. You can get your everyday center fielder now, move Jung-Hoo Lee to right field, but I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be that much better, to be honest.
The only thing I'm holding out hope for is that they didn't have Rafael Devers for a full season. Matt Chapman got hurt, and Willie Adames took 4 months to get going. That's the only thing that I'm going to push back on that could be different from last year.
Yeah, but would you think the starting rotation's better? Yeah,
rotation's not great. Bullpen's not great. Their outfield defense got better, but that's about it. And their defense overall got a lot better. If you have him patrolling center field, I don't know what Jung-Hoo Lee's going to look like in right. I know he played there for a full season in 2020 when he was playing in South Korea.
Yeah.
But here's the other problem. Still got Elliot Ramos in left, he reminds me of Daenerys more, where he makes like a ton of difficult plays, but good God, do the easy ones he make look like hard as shit.
Now that's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah.
Daenerys
anytime there's a player who makes the easy plays look difficult and the difficult plays look easy, I always go back to Daenerys Moore. That's my guy.
Yeah. Great potential. With Elliot Ramos, though, will you have a short leash where Drew Gilbert could be your left fielder?
See, there you go.
I'm just saying. Let me just say the experience of that was awesome. Just because I don't know how I'm going to be accepted at these Giants things. Like, I'm not a Giants guy, but it was awesome. I saw Rock a New Era, saw Tacky. People said what's up to me, so that was very cool. People went crazy for Jung-Hoo Lee. Oh, my God. Is he a rock star? Good Lord. Didn't say much, but it was good to talk to him.
Yeah.
And obviously he was dealing with a lot from being detained a couple days before.
Ask him about it. First question.
He was told not to. But yeah, Giants fans are hopeful, and the Beat LA chants are out there. Vitello, man, he brings you in. You start to believe when you talk to him, and I can see why he builds up people and why he's a good leader of men, because he says all the right things. I don't know how he's going to be as a manager in baseball. I have no idea. But I liked him. I like talking to him. And Logan Webb, really, really cool, really good dude. Talked to him for a little bit, asked him about the Raiders, said that he's hopeful in Fernando Mendoza, doesn't know who he wants the coach to be. But when I brought up the Raiders, of course, everybody in the crowd booed. So I was like, all right, we got to finish this up. Yeah.
San Ramon.
I know, and I was like, hey, I know there's Niner fans out there, but Logan's a Raider fan. I grew up an Oakland Raider fan. We're in the East Bay. Boo! I was like, all right, fine, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Quest for 6.
Quest for 6. Oh, Niners. You're talking.
I don't know.
Yeah, I hear you. Anything else, Steven?
Oh God. Did you see the mountain lion in San Francisco?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that would scare me shitless.
Yeah.
Like you and I were like, have we talked about raccoons here in the East Bay on this podcast?
I'm sure we brought it up.
Dude, I remember walking home from Whole Foods, seeing a raccoon on the sidewalk. And I was like, I'm going the other sidewalk. You see a fucking lion? Jesus Christ.
Yeah. But it looks so cute. An adorable lion.
No.
Yeah. What?
No, it's not Nala or I'm not down with that.
Nala. That's the first adorable lion you could think of.
She was more than adorable, I'll tell you that.
That's when I became a man. Nah, dude, it was a cute little mountain lion. Like, I don't know, maybe it's because I have a cat.
Rip you to fucking shreds. What are you talking about?
Giving a little treat, you know?
It would eat you. What do you eat? What the hell are you talking about, Stephen?
Listen, I'm a cat guy now.
Yeah.
Do you see that? See that back there?
Yeah, we all know Phoebe. We all know Phoebe.
I got my own little mountain lion in here. All right, we would have gotten along great. Quite frankly, Skills. I don't know. I don't like where this conversation is going.
Yeah, because I was saying that I got turned on by Nala as a kid. Anyway.
Well, listen. I mean, we could go over the top animated characters that you had a crush on growing up. Number 1 was Goofy Esmeralda. Nice. Number 1 was technically a dog, Goofy movie.
Yeah, she was cute too.
Max's girlfriend.
And then she turns on him in the dream where he gets all big teeth like his dad.
Yeah.
But of course, that's just a nightmare though.
Yeah. Wouldn't happen in real life. No. Mrs. Incredible was awesome. What?
Dude, that fits your personality so well.
Why?
Because you're like that. When I see her, I picture the girl from the AT&T commercials, and you loved her,
Milana von Trub or whatever.
Yeah, you're all about her for a while.
Listen, man, I like women who seem to be put together in life, and
Mrs. Incredible definitely was.
Yeah, this is gonna get me in trouble.
It's a harmless conversation about what Disney characters we were attracted to.
And then there's what is it, Jessica Rabbit?
Well, yeah, come on, that's the go-to.
I mean, that's the obvious one, right?
I liked Meg from Hercules.
Yeah, Meg was a good one.
Yeah, Pocahontas.
Keep going.
And I think she was the appropriate age in the movie, unlike in real life.
Yeah, you don't want to look at the real life thing.
No, because of course the Disneyification of it all. Jasmine was smoking. Yeah, okay. I think we covered it all.
I think we got most.
Yeah, there you go.
Keep going.
I can't think of any more.
Say Meg from Family Guy.
I like Mila Kunis, but no, not Meg from Family Guy. No.
Yeah, and then we can go to TV sitcom moms if you want, or we could just move on.
Deborah from Everybody Loves Raymond.
Deb?
Yeah,
that's the
Patricia
first.
Heaton?
That's the first one that comes to mind when you think of TV sitcom mom.
King of Queens wife. she goes a little overboard in real life with the Scientology hate, but
yeah, but Leah Remini's back though. She's back from the Scientology thing. I think.
Okay, good.
Patricia Heaton's really the first. That's the first TV sitcom mom.
All right, you name one then.
Julie Bowen, Modern Family.
Yeah, Julie Bowen's the right one. Yeah.
Moving on. Next.
Hard no to Patricia Heaton. Some people say.
Damn.
I can't think of any other ones. You probably see the Malcolm in the Middle mom.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah. Nah, I can't think of any more.
Yeah, that's probably it for me. All right, Steven, anything else?
Do you want me to add anything else? I'll just keep talking if you want.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, I got nothing.
All right, fair enough. All right, everybody. And then we'll go back to, man, this could be a weird weekend. We're getting closer to the off season where no football and I go insane. So I know you got baby stuff to get ready for, Steven. Sunday, cool?
Sunday.
Back to Sundays now. There's nothing going on in sports wise. Unless they're playing the Pistons. Yeah, no games over the weekend. All right, everybody. We're back on Sundays for this week. All right. To everybody in the chat, to AJ Cruz, the fuckery is Derek's favorite part of the NFL season. You might be right. To AJ Cruz, to the Skills Report, to Ernie One, to Rocka New Era, to Jesse, to Otis Bird is the word, to Daniel Shabazz. I believe that is it. I said Skills, right?
I think so.
All right. All right, everybody. We'll see you on Sunday. Steven, say what you always say.
It's just our opinion, man.